What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Dreamin', so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. Okay, guys, let's talk about the Soulbound reward cards. Currently, we are in the Rebellion era, and this only started in August of last year, so we haven't even quite hit a year, even though Conclave Arcana is just around the corner. Now, with the Chaos Legion set, that lasted about a year and a half, a little bit more than a year and a half. My expectation is that we won't go that quite long with Rebellion, but I think it'll definitely be more than a year. So, for example, Conclave Arcana is coming out probably around May sometime, I think is what the current estimate is. So that's like 3 months before we hit the 1 year mark on these cards. And while maybe they only last a year, I think 3 months after Conclave Arcana comes out, the main set or the core set, I think that's still a little bit too early for the team to reintroduce yet another, brand new set of cards. So my expectation is we will probably see Conclave Arcana, the reward cards, the Soulbound reward set, sometime maybe like 6 months afterwards, which if you're doing May, well, maybe 4 to 6 months afterwards, right? Which would put it, I know we're kind of like splitting hairs here, but like September, October-ish time frame. Or at least sometime before the end of the year. So it doesn't quite get to a year and a half, but I think it still goes longer than a year. Now, why am I setting all this up? It's because, as you can see for myself, I have almost all the cards that I need, or all the BCX that I need, at least from a regular foil perspective, for commons, rares, and epics, and I'm working my way with legendary cards now, right? Pretty much all my glint is being used to get that, and I will just level up these cards as needed from the reward chest that I get from advancing the different tiers, common, rare, and epic. And what got me thinking about the topic for this video in general was just the simple fact that I'm like, I'm already there, but do I want extra copies of all of these cards for survival mode in the future? And if I'm thinking that, I have to imagine many other people who are much more serious in survival mode are thinking that to themselves as well, or at least maybe I'm putting the thinking out there for people. Now, at the end of the day, survival mode is still going to be limited and bottlenecked by summoners, and thankfully we don't have any summoners in here, right? There were Soulbound summoners for the Chaos Legion set, reward set, but that's done printing now, and hopefully the damage there is somewhat contained. As much as I love those summoners, I really don't see why they should be given out for free. They are really the gatekeepers and the bottleneck for everything in a good way, which means people need to go out and buy them right now from either the players who have them or in the future from packs that can be opened for Conclave Arcana or any other packs from previous sets. So as I'm thinking through this now, I wonder if this creates almost like a perverse incentive for people to actually stack as many of these cards as possible. Now, again, it's hard to determine where people's motivations lie because you could, like, for example, with my own situation, it's like, do I use the glint to go, like all this extra glint that I'll have soon, right, once I'm fully maxed out? Do I do it to maybe go for the gold foil cards if I really want that? Should I do it to go for a title or some other cool, larger range project that they have, or larger range prize that they have? Should I use it for energy, so that I can maximize my rewards, specifically SPS rewards, by getting all this extra energy in the future? Or now, right, this is the thing that I'm adding to that list, do I kind of help my account in the future by just stacking a bunch of these cards? Now, the other added incentive for getting extra copies of these cards is the fact that if new players do come in the future and you choose to unlock them, and right now the unlock cost is high, but as soon as they're out of print, it should drop down, I think, to like the 10x, right? With Chaos Legion, we had it out for 6 months where it was 10x and went up to 15x, raising up 1x every month. So it's like, there's certain ways in which I could play this where I could kind of like plan for the future and actually get value now, by just getting a bunch of these extra cards, getting summoners to play with them. Again, that'll be like a further investment for myself, because unless the cards are good and they continue winning, it's you'll eventually run out. But it allows me to then kind of like place a bet on the future where if the value of these cards goes up, I can choose to unlock them 6 months, up to 6 months after they are out of print. And if new players are coming in, there's a high demand, right? So it creates an interesting incentive there. I shouldn't have said perverse. It's just like, it is what it is. It's just, I don't like the idea of like these cards being printed more than needed. And survival mode, as awesome as it is, kind of adds to that, right? Before, people were kind of taking just the bet that, there'd be new players coming in the future. But since we didn't really see that, right, over the course of the Chaos Legion Soulbound set release, we didn't really do much with it. Now, the thing is, we are entering into a much more bullish time period. I think people are still quite, certain that there's a bull run that's going to happen at some point within the next year or two. And they may choose to take that bet. And they may choose to or feel more confident taking that bet because they know that they can get some value for these cards right now. I mean, they could unlock them for the 20x, but it's just, why do that when you can save it for the future? You can always burn it for glint later if you really wanted to. And at the end of the day, you can get value from these cards by just throwing them at the survival, the pit that is survival mode. So I'm just putting this out there because I'm curious to see if anybody else is having the same thought around this and how, we could potentially fix or change that in the future if we need to. From the beginning, having these cards available, having any Soulbound cards available for survival mode always felt like a big no-no to me. Like, it's like, if the cards are Soulbound, like, they shouldn't be allowed in survival mode. Survival mode should be cleaning up all the extra cards out there, not incentivizing me to spend glint getting a bunch of extra cards. Sure, I'll have to get, the associated summoners with them, but I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about this. Maybe the damage isn't as bad. Maybe the incentives actually would be quite good because it would get people to really lock down a lot of the summoners. And if the summoner prices go up and they get scarce, I mean, that actually ends up being a good thing for the game all around, right? So I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.